Welcome to the Lion Nation Podcast. Now to your host, Chuck Tracy.
Welcome everyone to Bush's Chicken. Let's give Bush's a big round of applause for sponsoring Lion football.
I like it here too, man.
And good chicken.
Yeah.
It is, and the livers are fantastic. That's
the livers.
one of my things.
He's country. He's country.
I'm very much, but I stay away from the gizzards and the sweet tea as well, of course. Okay, we're heading into Game 6 of the season, Coach. A cross-district rivalry against Vista Ridge. Mm-hmm. Talk about Vista and this kind of. We play a lot of familiar teams in this new district. It's kind of sometimes things change, but they really don't. No. Yeah. And we've seen familiar teams, Stony Point and Pflugerville, and now we're getting into the part of the district schedule where we play teams that are also part of our independent school district, and we start that with Vista tonight. So talk about Vista a little bit and how they in the rivalry with Leander over the years.
Vista, they're pretty good and they're well coached. And their coach, Coach Vince, has been there a long time, and he's won a lot of games. And he's taken to the playoffs and been multiple rounds. And they got some good players. They're well coached. Their offensive coordinator there's been there. Coach Brown's been there for, seems like 10 years.
Right.
And they've got – they keep hiring – they do a good job hiring within as far as the DC. And so they're not predictable, but they're kind of – we know where they're kind of line up. They know where we're going to line up, and it's usually a pretty good game.
And you also have that added feature of the kids growing up in the area playing against each other in multiple sports in different leagues, baseball, basketball, football as well.
That's kind of cool because I sit in a meeting sometimes and I'll go, hey, do you know this guy? And they go, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so. They all know him. They all know. It doesn't matter what team we're facing. It could be Hendrickson or Cedar Ridge. And they're like, oh, yeah, Coach, I played against him, so they all know him.
Right.
They know each other. So
yeah, he's like baseball or basketball. Yeah. So and Vista has really, since Leander was moved to 6A and Cedar Park stayed 5A, I always felt like that was the main Leander rival. But once that shifted, in my eyes, it became Vista Ridge. They've been a very, 1 year they'll beat us, the next year we'll beat them, and it's kind of back and forth. So I'm really excited about this week. How do you think they're going to react to the new offense in their,
That's a good question. Just probably like the other teams that we face. We're going to get a lot of base defense, a lot of assignment football. They're not going to like it because they got 3 days to prepare for it. And so, if we just – each week we talk about getting better as a team and, eliminate penalties, eliminate turnovers, and then execute our offense. So now we've limited. We haven't had a turnover in 2 weeks. We've cut our penalties. I think we had 3 penalties last game. So we're getting to that point where we stop beating ourselves. Now if we can just execute properly, then I don't think it'll be tough to stop what we're doing. Yeah,
because it's going to be a different dose of what they got last year.
Yeah, well.
Last year I think that was the game record or the season record of that in that game in receptions. Yeah, and yards. Yeah, and yardage, I believe. 240-something odd yards on passing.
It's also what I've talked about a lot with our coaches is we're playing on level now. Cedar Ridge and Hendrickson, they were both in the semifinals last year.
Right.
And they got 2,700 kids, and they got 3,000 kids, and we got 2,000. Yeah. So I think Vista Ridge has about 2,300 kids. So we're close to playing on level now. We're playing for about next 4 weeks or so. We're playing teams about the same caliber as we are. It should be good games every one of the weeks. So
and on paper, it seems like the first few games you got a heavy dose of run against you guys, and now looking at them through the season so far, they've had more of a balance. They've had I think 11 guys catch the ball on offense.
It's the same stuff, though. It's wheel out of the backfield. It's play action. They do a real good job of kind of getting leverage in unbalanced situations and trying to they do a real good job of just kind of reading and those RPOs and stuff like that and throwing the wheel out of the backfield. And, Coach Ramsey did a good job, and this week today it was really kind of our defense. I was running scout team quarterback, so they're like, it's new and it's kind of, and they struggle a little bit, but they'll see it again. They'll see it again, and they'll get it. They'll get it.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of helps if you're a Vista Ridge fan to have the quarterback be the coordinator's son and have that extra work at the dinner table.
They've played a couple quarterbacks, and
Have
they kind of the ones kind of they consider the passer, and the other one's just kind of a runner. But they're good players. They're real good players. But what we've seen the past 4 weeks, it's nothing what we're going to see. Cedar Ridge, they got you saw that guy going to Michigan.
Right.
We're going to be playing. Our kids it's going to be a good competition game.
Well, and the size difference in that, just the Hendrickson game on the line.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You can see it evidence in the photos that Lisa Ortiz shared.
Yeah.
There's some big guys. On
yeah,
they
were real, especially on defense, and that's Hendrickson defense returned 9 out of 11 off that semifinal team on defense. So. Yeah. They're all seniors over there, and they're pretty good. I think they had one junior starter at corner, and Rashad got kind of dinged up the first half, and we put Joseph Choto in, and he did fine.
Right.
He executed and kind of ran. It was real poised, real pleased with him, and so the kids are excited this week. I think we'll do fine.
Well, and I think on the offensive line, one of the people we want to interview later tonight, Riley Wells, played pretty well. Mm-hmm. Considering it's his first go-around on the offensive line.
Sometimes when you struggle running the football, you immediately go to the offensive line, but they play pretty good, and they played pretty consistent all year long. And so they're
just that good on defense.
Yeah, they're very good. But they've been playing pretty consistent. Where we struggle, we've had a bunch of guys play those wings right there, and it's the perimeter blocking is tough. And you're trying to block, really good athletes in space. So, we're going to continue to get better. We work on it every day. We work on it against our own defense, and we got another person hurt today, and so, but we'll get better.
Well, and we talked about it previously. We're kind of running the JV version of this offense, and it's because it takes a while to implement. Mm-hmm. It's not something you can. You have to build on what you've already established, and until you establish that lower foundation, then you can't really add the bells and whistles as easily.
That's a real good point. I think one of our base plays is veer, and I think our kids could run that in their sleep right now. And they know all the adjustments, they know all the fronts, they know all the defenses they could face and what they got to do, and that's a really good start. So we started with veer and then midline, and they could run both those plays pretty consistently. Talked to all of our quarterbacks from 7th grade on up, and I've asked them what their favorite play is, and they all said the same thing: midline. They like they like midline. So it's what that. So it's you're right. It's real hard as a coach not to want to tinker and try something new, but you got to kind of fight that boredom of. Hey, this is our plays. We're going to keep coaching them hard and keep getting better, and you got to fight that boredom every day.
Yeah, and once the execution gets there, it's going to work.
Yeah,
it's going to work well.
Yeah,
and
it's hard.
Proof's in the pudding. You've seen it already.
We played some really, really good teams, and we rushed for over 300 yards against Cedar Ridge, and we had a couple of their kids kind of tap out and not want to play anymore because we were just more physical than them.
Yeah, and when you look on paper, you've got 2 of the top 5 leading rushers in the district. Mm-hmm. You've been averaging well over 200 yards, almost 250 yards a game, with the exception of last week. That was the only game really that kind of stalled a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They also had a good rotation too. They had a good dose of
this is my own theory, but it doesn't help that these teams are taking a loss the week before they come to play us, because then they're mad when they show up.
They're playing Vandergrift, and I talk to Coach Saunders every week. Every Sunday, it's like we have we talk, and so I see their film quite a bit, and I keep asking, hey, can you line up in double wing just one time? But they do a real good job on defense. So they got some special kids over there and on defense, and they've got a good team. He's done a good job building that program. So that's a film we get every week. So on them guys, but
they're not doing us any favors though.
No, but they haven't seen us yet either. True. They have Vandergrift has 0 film of us. Well, I say that, I don't know, maybe he does so, but he's not. He asked me a lot of questions about our team. He asked me a lot of questions about our players. So it's not like he's. I've seen film with them playing this offense because they played Permian. So and Permian beat them twice. So they'll struggle a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Vista on Friday. Yep. It's at Gupton.
Yep.
So we have at Bible on Thursday is going to be the freshmen, or are they playing at Running Brushy?
The freshmen are at Running. No, the freshmen are at the auxiliary field over at Vista, and then our JV is at Running Brushy.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's Rouse or Glenn is playing at our field. That we're letting them use our field. You
Okay.
know, so they got to pay a fine. So not a fine, they're paying us a fee. So
Well, they got to pay for that scoreboard.
yeah, no, that's our scoreboard too. So
Yeah, it's a nice scoreboard. I
we'll
love
let
that
them use
thing.
it. So we'll let them use it.
Excellent. So we're going to interview Coach Dixon, right?
All right.
Right in the middle of his meal. That's the way I like it. And then we'll get Riley Wells after that, hopefully. Maybe we'll do some trivia. Riley versus Coach Dixon. Oh, that's two offenses, though. That's two offensive guys. You're a receiver coach. Okay. Well,
How you guys
Coach,
doing?
welcome.
Good to be here. Thank you.
You're
Thank you
doing?
for
Coach
inviting me. I'm good.
Dedrick
coming up.
Dixon, right?
That's it.
And your wide receiver coach.
That's me.
You started this fall.
Yes, sir.
Okay, give us a little bit of your background. Where did you play high school ball? Where were you born? All that stuff.
I was actually born and raised in Beaumont, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I attended high school in Alvin, at Alvin High School
Right.
after Hurricane Rita. And then went on to Texas A&M Kingsville, and I was
Okay.
a student coach for there, for student assistant quarterbacks coach for 2 years. So, yeah, got a little bit of football background.
Yeah, there's a lot of good football in the Beaumont area.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know, you got
for
Port
sure.
Arthur and
sure.
Port Arthur Lincoln. You got West Orange Stark. I mean, they're kind of a smaller school, but they dominate their
The Golden
division.
Triangle, baby.
It's pretty good. So, what brought you to Austin?
Oh man, I was actually, I was looking for a couple of college jobs near San Antonio area, and not too long after filling out a lot of applications. Colleges, they don't like to get back at you.
Right.
So wasn't too long after that, I got a call from Coach Ramsey here at Leander, and they had checked out my resume, seemed to like what I was about. I'm all about changing cultures.
Right.
And he seemed to like me, so came out here, did a few interviews, and we got it rolling from there.
Well, and there's something about Leander. It was what there was in this district for the longest time. 100 years, and then
what
when
I've
schools
heard.
started splitting, it affected the culture here, and it's been a battle to try to bring it back. So that's admirable.
Yeah, and it's not easy.
No,
it's
it's
not
not
easy
an
to
easy
change.
job.
But when you're just that determined to do it, anything's possible. It just might take a little bit of time.
right. That's key. It's not an overnight process.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And especially when things continue to happen that related to the district. I mean, I know they're already discussing another high school,
Right,
So.
and there's certain things that you can't control.
Right.
So
Growth
you just
in the
kind of got
area.
to roll with the punches that come your way.
Well, now coming as a receiver coach in a running style offense, at least at this point in its infancy of being implemented, how does that work out? You spend a lot of time teaching blocking, I assume.
Oh, we do, but blocking isn't nearly as simple as it seems.
No, it's not,
And-
especially at a wide receiver
For
position.
for sure. And not only that, but, it's about getting the guys to buy into what we're doing, and I preach to them daily. What we do on the perimeter is just as important as an offensive lineman, just as important as a quarterback and as a running back. So, it's not like we can just get out there and take plays off. We're just as important at our position.
Well, and that is so true because you can block everyone on the line and get the linebackers and think you're going to have the edge, and here comes the corner because the receiver
Absolutely.
missed his block. Or there could be a hold sometimes because
Yeah.
he didn't get in position
Yeah.
to make the block.
For sure.
Yeah, and
For
we've
sure.
seen him have do a good job out there already, blocking on the outside because Addison LaRue, all of them have had success. Rashad has had a lot of success
Sanchez
on the
was used to
outside.
blocking from the other offense, though. He was always a pretty good blocker.
Yeah, he's a pretty good athlete,
Yeah.
But like I said, it's all about getting those guys to buy in, And I think once they actually start to see it, and that Weiss game really helped because they got to see, crap when
We can
when
be
we
successful.
block the perimeter, things go for touchdowns.
Right.
And so I always tell them, we're the difference between a first down and a touchdown. So I just keep preaching stuff like that.
Well, and and in this offense, 3-4 yards is pretty good each play as long as you're
That's
not
the
putting
goal.
yourself backwards
That's the goal.
with penalties. So,
Yes, sir.
anytime you can bust a long one, then you'll take that
For
all day
sure.
long.
For sure.
So you've had a good chance to study the DBs for Vista Ridge by now, huh?
I have.
What do you think? What are you up against?
The number one thing I noticed was speed. They're pretty quick, pretty fast. They like to play kind of aggressively. They're kind of more cover guys than they are run stoppers. But at the same time, you know, they have a safety, and man, he'll come downhill and hit you. So it's just about being ready and being able to match their physicality or even out physical them. You know, and I teach my guys all the time. It's about imposing our will on them. And so that's, you know, they're good. They're a good bunch of kids, you know. So we just got to go in there with our heads on straight, and I think we'll be fine.
Well, and you know, we were talking with Coach Smith about it. These kids have been competing against each other for, you know, their entire life in various sports in this area, and so there's nothing over there that intimidates any of the guys here, and there's nothing here at Leander that intimidates any of the guys there, and so that always makes for a pretty good football game because it gets down to just athletes and execution and you know. And maybe a play call here or there.
Yeah, and if anything, I tell them use that to use that as an advantage. You know, these are guys that you grew up with. You don't want to see them a couple of years or a couple of weeks later and let them, hey, we beat you. Nah, we'll let them know we'll walk out with the W.
That stuff happens in years and years beyond.
Right.
You know,
sure does.
Tell them you don't want to be 5 years down the line and see that friend that beat you. You know?
You can say, hey,
we'll use it to our advantage.
Yeah, and so going over to Gupton, have you ever coached over there yet?
I haven't. A lot of things I'm still very new to around the area. You know, I got here, and the night after I got here, we started football the next morning. So I haven't had much time to see very much. I haven't gotten much time to see different teams except for the teams that we're playing that week. So, yeah, Gupton will be new for me.
Have you seen Lake Travis yet?
No. I only – glimpse of Lake Travis I've seen is their B team when we went to Hendrickson, saw their B team there, and that was it.
No, I mean the actual lake.
No. Oh, no. I haven't had time to.
You're like 5 minutes away from it.
Football, though, man.
No, I haven't even had time to do that. Trust me, when it's time, I'll be out there. I'm a fisherman, so I'll be there.
Yeah, it's a nice lake if you know the right spots to fish at, and depending on the level of the lake, too. So.
That's what I've been told. I'm looking forward to it maybe during the off season.
Well, and it's up and down because it was dropping for a while, and then we've had all this rain, so I don't even know how that's affected it. But it's getting to be close to, was the white bass? Do you fish for white bass? That's in February or something?
See, because I went to college down in Kingsville, we fished on the coast.
Saltwater fishing.
Yeah, and so freshwater fishing is going to be totally new to me.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Got to have a lot of patience.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
Well, that's where if you hit the white bass when they're running, you can get a lot.
Yeah.
You can get lucky, but you have to be at the right. It's the same thing. You have to be at the right spot.
You go to the right spot, do some crappie fishing. Something.
Looking forward to doing some of that.
Just got to catch a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, obviously, that's not the focus now because he brought up the lake, and you're still thinking football. So
fishing's always a hard topic to stay away from. So.
Now, and I know they take a lot of pride in the football in the Beaumont area, but. Do they match the stadiums and stuff in the Austin area that are around here?
I've seen some pretty extravagant stadiums so far, in Leander. And actually, my first time here at Leander, I looked like, wow, it was like a very nice stadium. The Palace was awesome. That's probably one of my favorite high school stadiums that I've been to, just in terms of how it looks.
Right.
It was sweet.
Gupton's kind of a mini version of that. I mean, it's pretty close to the same size.
Mini version of the Palace?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's got all the stone setting around it.
We
have the metal bleachers and stuff at our stadium. It's really more of an old school look. I kind of like it. But
I do. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Because they redid it, and they shifted the stadium. The press box was on the other side, and it was this little thing you had to climb in from the bottom walk up all the way to the stairs. It was awful.
Like fun.
But they had purchased the bleachers originally. There's a whole story where they purchased it from from Permian, Odessa Permian, way back in like the 30s, and they came up when they put it up backwards, and so. They got shifted and changed a few years back, and of course the new press box, which we love.
Yeah,
so,
that's great.
No complaints there. Okay, Coach. So you ready for Friday? You got your receivers ready to go?
We're getting there. We need Tuesday practice. We need Wednesday practice. And it's all about prepare.
A lot of times it's
Preparation's
the
all about
mental
preparing
stuff at this
ourselves.
point, right?
That too, for sure. Especially, we're in the midst of a long season right now. It's been pretty long. We play some really, really talented teams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're
Our schedule's really front-end loaded.
It is.
Well, like
It
after
is.
the first couple of games.
Yeah, and there's still a couple more on the.
Yeah,
that
there's
are
some
gonna be
tough
pretty
ones
tough.
still going.
For sure. So right now it is about getting mentally prepared, but it is physically prepared as well. It plays just about as major part as being mentally prepared.
Okay, well, we always also ask a little bit of non-football related stuff, so we're going to
fine
ask
with me.
that too. What do you teach besides football? Or
Right
what
now
do
I'm teaching government and economics, and I'm also teaching world history.
nice.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite subjects.
Sweet.
So,
I was a history
yeah.
major, so it all works out for
Yeah,
me.
I could spend all day watching the History Channel, even though some of it's not history. But
Yeah.
that's
Now-
a whole
now I
other-
like
that's
it.
a whole other thing.
I like it a lot more now. Before it was just math. That's all I like.
So now going back to your days in school, what teacher inspired you, or was there a coach that inspired you and made you want to go into coaching and teaching?
Actually, I had a few, and when I was in high school at Alvin, we had a coach come in, an offensive coordinator. He had been around the area, and by the time he got to Alvin, he kind of embodied a lot of the things that I'm about. I wasn't about it at the time, obviously,
But you
but
wanted
he
to
was
be.
all about changing the culture and turning the program around. And I saw how hard he worked, and it didn't take long for me and him to really bond. And sooner or later, it got to a point to where I was taking tips from him. And I knew I wanted to coach. My junior year in high school, I knew. That's what I
That's
wanted
rare to
do.
know what you want to do when you're that young.
Well, yeah. He put me in charge of a 7-on-7 team, and it kind of just flourished from
You just
there.
knew you
I
wanted
kind
to?
of found myself in that. Yeah, so I kind of just stayed picking his brain, and by the time I got to college, I found my offensive coordinator there. He was awesome. He took me under his wing, and man, it was an experience that really can't be matched.
So with your journey that you've had, what's one thing that sticks with you the most outside of the culture? What sticks with you the most throughout, like that you've brought here to Leander that you've learned from some of the coaches in the past or some of your teammates?
One thing that sticks out to me the most, besides the culture, I'd have to say just grinding. It's not easy to just get up every single morning, pull yourself out of bed, head to the football field and work, and then go to class, and then come back and work again. I think that's something that I excel at because it's something that I want to do. It's something that
Right.
I've,
You're self-motivated.
brought up. Exactly.
It's hard to
Exactly.
be that. Even if
It
you
is.
love what you're doing,
You're right.
every day at
You're right.
at 5, because I know I'm getting up driving them, so
Yeah.
it gets tiresome.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you carry that through, all aspects of your life, really.
Sure.
Keep grinding. I
Yeah.
agree.
And it gets even harder, especially when you face the teams that we face, and when we face them and all that, it's even a little bit harder of a struggle. But I'm
even
up
battling
for it.
through some of those games, as tough as they can be, there's benefit there, and there's teachable moments,
absolutely.
and I always go back to. You want to win games. You're here to do that.
Sure.
But you're also here to try to build up young men.
Absolutely.
And some of the young men, they get support from home. Some of them not as much. And and you just got to really, love them all. So.
Right, and that's something I'm very aware of. I received a lot of love from my coaches, love on a personal level, and I try to let my guys know, all the time. I care more about them as people than I do as football players.
Right.
And it's kind of a challenge to get to that point because this is my job. This is, it's my passion. It's what I love to do. But I try to constantly preach that. It's more about who you are as a person rather than, you being a player of mine.
Well, one thing I've seen throughout, at least in the past 5 years to speak of, with these teams of, the Lions, they've never given up. Regardless if it's fourth quarter, there's a minute left.
No.
Everybody's dog tired. They keep fighting, and that's one resilient aspect, characteristic that I've seen from this team.
To be honest with you, that's the thing that I'm most impressed about being here at Leander is that we have a very hard-working coaching staff. I'm blessed to be working with these guys, and not only that, but we have kids, and I say it all the time. I'll line these kids up against anyone. I will bet on our kids. No matter what the outcome is, no one's going to get out of a game against us, unhurt or be able to say that they quit. That Leander quit. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
These guys are going to fight
well,
you.
And you do hear that about some teams. You get
Absolutely.
on top of them, they're going to quit.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't. I mean, it doesn't happen here.
They will not quit. This is the best attribute of this team.
Well, I think a little bit, we talked about it being, the main school for so long. A little bit of it goes back to that because people in the area, when they hear Leander, they expect that, and it's falling on hard times a little bit, but it's coming out.
For sure, and we're going to come out.
Right. No, and I agree. I mean, just like the sun rises, it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
So. And I've talked to some parents. He talked about, and we've talked about knowing the kids knowing each other. Well, when that happens, the parents know each other too. I went to Cedar Ridge, and they were having the tailgate. I'm there early, and they're making chicken. Well, I didn't have time. I could.
Yeah.
But I talked to the father I know after the game, and he's like, "Man, y'all's offense is good." He's like, "You're just like a year away from that thing really giving teams trouble." So,
and I agree, and no matter what people say, I honestly believe it. No one comes into Leander thinking that this is just going to be a game that they know they'll win. It's a game that they're going to have to grind out to win because our guys are gritty,
right? Just
like we coach them to be.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to bring Riley up here and interview him, and then I'm going to bring you back, and Gary's going to do some trivia with y'all, and we'll see who wins
All right, no problem.
The trivia. Thanks for coming up, Coach.
No problem. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Riley Wells. Riley.
About to break the chair.
Welcome. Oh,
Yeah, that would be
I'm good.
embarrassing to break the chair.
Yeah,
on,
well,
They're
on
holding us
camera.
up, so you're good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Riley. We could talk about all kinds of stuff. I've known you for a long time.
Sixth grade?
Saw you put on a helmet and shoulder pads for the first time back in 6th grade. You were already a good football player back then.
Appreciate that.
Stepping on the field from day one. So one of the things that I'm more impressed with beyond your athleticism is your character. And I'm going to give credit to your mom, even though I like your dad a lot. I think she probably had a lot to do with that. And what I mean is, and I want you to talk about it, but you were a ball carrier very recently, and then you've been moved to the best position group on the field, the offensive line.
Yes.
So talk about your transition. I just want to commend you for your leadership and your attitude. A lot of guys don't take those kind of transitions very well.
Thank you. So, when I first played for you in 6th grade, I was
you were already a lineman.
Yeah, I played about every position on the line. I played defensive line.
Nose tackle.
I guess I played like receiver and all that in middle school, and then kind of played like the halfback freshman year, and then sophomore year, and it kind of turned into like the kind of tight end we saw last year, and then this year, first day of practice, Coach Smith pulls me in. He goes, "Hey, we're gonna try you out at left guard," and I was like, "All right." It was just kind of like whatever you needed. So whatever I can do to get on the field.
Honestly, coaches can't have enough kids that are willing to whatever you need, Coach.
Right.
Really, because you need that kind of dedication and attitude and commitment to not only your coaches but your teammates and the program. And so I think you've really shown that this year. And watching film of this last game and seeing the dude you were having to battle on
he was big.
on a regular basis, and you did pretty well. I commend you your effort and your game. It was good.
Thank you.
So
yeah, I had someone walk up to me before the game. They said, "You ever wrestled a bear?" I said no, and they said, "Well, you're about to." So,
I think you did. And
he was pretty big.
Right. You know what? That's part of football in Texas.
Yeah.
You didn't back down. I guarantee you, when they look at the film, they'll recognize that, and awards happen for games like that. So keep grinding, keep battling.
Yes, sir.
So talk about your offensive line as a group. Y'all gelled pretty well. You got good size in the middle, really on the ends too. So
yeah, we're a pretty close, tight knit group. We got each other's backs no matter what happens. We joke around, poke fun at each other here and there, but it's all fun and games. Eric Locust has really done an outstanding job this year of just keeping us all in line and making sure we all know what we're doing. And Puckett and Matai on the right side doing a real great job just keeping things under control over there. And then Holyfield's even helped, left tackle has even helped keep me in check a little bit. And it's all just kind of helping since my first year over there. But I like the offense we're running because, we're not we're big. Some of us are big, but we're not big compared to some of the linemen we play
you're right.
by any means. So, it's the fast, hard hitting, which is what we're better at since we may be a little bit smaller, but that also helps us out being a little quicker. And so the hard and fast hitting offense to get 4 yards play really just I think it makes it a lot easier on us than in years past.
Well, and the defenses aren't used to the blocking angles that are coming at them.
Exactly. We just Coach Thomason says tee off on their hip a lot, and it's just getting off the ball and just hitting them before they can even get off the ground, get out of their stance, and they're not used to that, and they don't like that.
Well, it's every great block's not necessarily a pancake block.
Right.
So you just seal and make that hole, and that's all you need to do. So you're one of the few linemen that can get downfield though and run with a running back that's broken into the secondary.
Well,
get down there and celebrate with the running backs.
Just gotta hustle. You want to be in the pictures.
Yes, that's true. Well, that's a good motivation.
So you got to hurry down there.
But you also got to realize you're expending a little energy sprinting down the
about
field.
the time I get lined up for PAT, that's when I'm like, holy crap!
I shouldn't have sprinted 65 yards.
Should have just done that fat man jog down the field where it looks like a jog, but you're really just walking, bouncing your shoulders.
Well, and I always told that to the lineman. You may not be moving fast, but you better at least look like you're running.
Right. Yeah. We'll get our butts chewed if we don't. So.
Right, you got to hustle. Station to station, everything.
Exactly.
Well, and that's something you've always done. I want to commend you, too, for your leadership and your hustle that you've given throughout the years. You came up as a sophomore,
yes, sir.
And proved yourself right away. And, they were able to utilize you, and, we've watched you, for years, and being able to, your blocking is exceptional, when you were in the backfield, when you're H-back.
Yes,
everything that you've done to this point has just been really, really good, really strong. You can see the strength that you have out there. We watch these defenses by the fourth quarter.
Right.
They're still hands on the hips. You guys are still pushing them. And that's pretty incredible to watch, really.
And it's
there's some size on defense.
Yeah, and it's our drives stretch out. We try to get them to like 14 plays. Try to take a lot of time off the clock, and it's hard for a defense. And we just try to show. It's hard for us too, because nobody wants to be just on the field for 8 minutes or 9 minutes or however long we're on the field. But we just can't show them we're tired, and we just got him in the mouth the next play and the next play and the next play, and just over and over, just wear them out.
Yeah, and we were just laughing. Now you have the luxury. You went from a 2-piece chicken tender meal to a 6-piece chicken tender meal.
I did, yeah.
Now you can enjoy it a little bit more.
Exactly, yeah. I don't have to be as fast anymore. Don't got to be as quick. So I'm enjoying that aspect of it for sure.
Good deal.
For sure.
Now, you are a senior.
I am.
Have you been considering colleges, or you got a different game plan? Or?
I kind of, I don't know. More so I'm looking at probably going into the military out of high school. Probably either the Marines or the Army. Use that, do my time, and use that to pay for my college. And so that way it just makes it a little bit easier on the family, one less thing they got to worry about. But then again, I'm getting to do something that is really a great thing, and just return the favor for everybody that's fought for our country, just return the favor and be able to do it myself. So.
Well, and you've got a coach on your staff that spent some time in service, and so you can talk to him about it
for sure,
and get real life experiences. It is very commendable. It's not something that just anyone can do. In fact, people don't think that there's no standard to get in the military, but there's a very high standard,
and that's
especially for the Marines.
Yeah, and that's something I'm probably gonna have to work on a little bit after football season, But
well, not just physical.
It's
mental and everything.
It's every part, every aspect that you could think of. It's that and some. So that's something I'm really gonna have to try my best to prepare myself for.
So who's the most vocal on the offensive line?
I would say Eric, but Are you talking about as far as like during the game or just in general?
In just leadership wise.
Probably Eric, because he's always telling us what to do, always just helping everybody out, making sure we all know the play, so we don't just so we all get the blocks done right, and we can get 4, 6, 8 yards, however many.
It's kind of weird to think about him as the elder statesman of the offensive
It really
line.
is. It really is. Yes.
That's what he is.
I mean, he is, and I mean, he played guard last year and coming in at center, and he's really done an outstanding job.
He was already a good center before
yeah.
that he played guard
yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had some pretty big guys up against him too.
Yeah.
But he's done a phenomenal job of just holding his own.
Yeah.
Just making sure we all know what to do.
Like I said, we can see the improvement, and you know, I expect it to continue. We're really excited about this week and beyond. We'll get to some trivia here real quick. I'm going to have you compete against Coach Dixon, and Gary's going to host it. I'm going to get out of the way. But before we do that, talk about your favorite class right now. Who was your favorite teacher of all time, and then who's your current favorite teacher?
Oh,
That could be the same person, but
I don't know. My favorite class, football. I mean, but that doesn't count because I mean
That
that's
counts.
everybody's favorite class. So
It was my favorite class.
I got 100 in football right now, so I mean,
you're doing pretty well then.
yeah.
Test on Friday.
Other than that, I'm in photojournalism, and
that's a good
really,
one. I
really
had
like
that
that
one.
class. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. So that's my favorite class besides football because who doesn't love football?
Right, exactly.
Favorite teacher all time. Wow. I would have to say my second/4th grade teacher. She moved up, Miss Cochran.
Mm-hmm.
She was over at Winkley Elementary with me, and she's recently retired and become a substitute teacher throughout the district. But she was a great teacher. It was awesome. She just taught me so much.
Well, and you know, this many years later, you're still influenced by her.
And
so.
so she was a great teacher, taught me a lot, but she was also fun at the same time. Favorite current teacher?
You'll get in trouble now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to be careful.
You can defer to not
Or you can pick the class you're doing the worst in.
That's true.
Got some strategy.
I would have to say probably Miss Allie, who's also my photojournalism teacher.
Okay.
I mean, coaches don't count because if it was, I wouldn't say which one because I'm not trying to start any debates or anything. But Miss Allie, the photojournalism teacher, she's real awesome. She's just awesome. So.
Yeah, I don't think Coach is mad at you for picking Miss Allie.
I mean, you can't be.
Right, exactly. So, okay, Coach Dixon, if you'll come back up here,
I'll
and you can
switch
slide
seats with
over and put on my headset and just leave those there for him, and I'll come behind you.
Come on down. Here, I can scoot over to the middle if that makes it easier. Okay, there we go. Oh, you haven't studied for this test.
Oh, you got a big head. I'm just playing.
'Cause this is something so out of the blue. You're not going to know what the answers are.
Okay.
So we'll play one first. Let's say how much time we got here. Well, we got plenty of time. We'll do first to 5.
First to 5.
And so I'm going to ask you a question first. It's going to be multiple choice, and then we'll just go back and forth from there.
All right.
So we'll keep score right here.
Don't be cheating either. Don't be looking.
All
You're
right.
just mad that you weren't sitting here.
So this has to do with stadiums, college football.
Ooh. All right.
Exactly. Nobody knows the answers to this. So, Riley, what is the biggest college football stadium? Is it A, Ohio Stadium, B, Beaver Stadium, C, Kyle Stadium, or D, Michigan Stadium?
Is it Michigan? That's my answer.
That's your answer? That's correct.
Oh,
Dang it.
what's up?
I knew that one.
107,000.
I knew that one.
107,000. Wow.
I knew that one.
All right. Okay.
I was gonna guess that. So
I
don't
had
give me
that one.
thing, yeah.
I'm gonna save this one for a tiebreaker, but we'll go to the next one. Let's
No,
see.
there ain't gonna be no tiebreaker.
What year was the first college football game ever played, which about 100 spectators showed up? Was it A, 1882, B, 1869, C, 1867, D, 1891?
67.
That is incorrect.
Dang it.
Would you like to give it a shot?
What were the answers besides 67?
You got 75%.
1882, 1869, 1867, and 1891.
69.
That is correct.
He's cheated. He's sitting next to him. He sees the answers.
Well, no, you got to think. If 67 is wrong and they're so close together, it's probably 69. Come on now.
Oh, I see. I didn't put that much thought into it. I'm gonna guarantee you. That's pretty good, though. Okay, so we'll go to a question to you then.
All right.
Okay, so fast forward 147 years to 2016. In Bristol Motor Speedway, a record was set at 156,990 paid spectators showed up. Was it a game against A, Alabama, Tennessee, B, Florida, Tennessee, C, Virginia Tech, Tennessee, D, LSU, Tennessee?
Oh, that's a good one. I got to go Florida, Tennessee.
That is incorrect.
God dang it.
Can I hear the answer choices again?
Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Tennessee, Va Tech, Tennessee, LSU, Tennessee.
Alabama, Tennessee.
That is incorrect. We're going to go ahead and take it back to you.
Again?
Then it's got to be LSU, Tennessee.
That is incorrect.
Oh,
I
my
choose-
goodness.
That question is off the board.
What?
Did y'all know that one? They didn't know it.
It's Va Tech in Tennessee.
Why is it the last one?
All right. Right.
Okay. Today's crowds of $100,000 are becoming commonplace in college football. How many college football stadiums hold at least 100,000 people? Is it A, 8, B, 11, C, 12, D, 6?
11.
That is incorrect.
What are the answer choices?
12,
8, 11, 12, and 6.
I'll go 6.
That is incorrect.
Is it at least?
At least, yeah.
Okay.
Or at
Well, see,
least 100,000.
Right. Oh, okay. Well. Yeah, because I know all of them. There's like a lot of them. I'm going to go 8.
That is correct.
He's cheating.
What?
I saw him look over there.
Okay, here you go, Coach.
Because I play a
Star
line.
The smallest stadium in Division I college football is at the UNC in Charlotte, North Carolina. What is the capacity? Is it A, 25,536, 17,658, 15,314, or 23,586? The smallest D1 stadium.
Go with 25,000.
That is incorrect.
23, whatever.
That is incorrect.
So what are we down to now?
25,000, 17,000, 15,000, and 23,000.
17 or 23. Go 17.
That is incorrect. The answer was actually 15,000.
This is
I was
rigged.
going to say
314.
It's rigged.
I was going to say that next.
Okay. What year is the oldest stadium that is still being played in, which is the Bobby Dodd Stadium that Georgia Tech plays in? Was it built in 1901, 1936, 1919, or 1913?
This is my question? Wait. This is his question.
Yeah, it's your question.
Okay. You said 1901, 1913, 1919, or 1936?
1901, 1936, 1919, or 1913?
1919.
That is incorrect.
I'm going to say 36.
That is also incorrect.
1913.
That is correct.
That's 50% right. That's 50% right.
We're
That
giving
was
half
easy.
points.
That was
half
easy.
points. Okay. Texas
I'm about to come back.
has the most Division I football stadiums in the state. Let me rephrase this. Texas has the most Division I stadiums in the state. How many does it have? Yeah, I got a mixed question here. They've got the most in the country. How many do they have? Is it A, 12, B, 9, C, 10, or D, 11?
9.
That is incorrect.
Hold on, let me count.
Gotta be quick.
Wait, you said 9?
Mm-mm.
He said 9, didn't he?
I don't know what he said.
Me neither.
You said 9. Can I hear it again? Not besides 9.
12, 9, 10, 11.
12.
That is correct. We have a winner.
5-0.
He cheated. He cheated. This was rigged. This was rigged.
Man.
Yeah.
Next
rematch next week.
Next week it'll be on history.
Yeah, I got that.
I'm in the history
got
of that,
that.
so I should be okay.
Yeah, it was history. Stadium history.
Stadium
Pretty good.
history.
All right.
Good job,
I
Rob.
want to thank you guys for coming
you,
in
guys.
and
Thank you.
playing quiz with us, and
For sure.
thank everybody else for coming to Bush's Chicken and supporting the podcast here on Monday nights. I want to wish you guys luck this week at Vista Ridge. Go Lions!
Go Lions.